Good day, great researchers all over the world. It's another time to rub minds together on a very important and interesting subject, empirical review. As a researcher, you really need to understand not just what empirical review is all about, but how can you use artificial intelligence, especially ChatGPT, to handle your empirical review, which is what we'll be doing here. All I need from you is to follow me carefully. And I also want to believe that this platform, I have attention of senior academics here, professors, senior lecturers, research consultants, and other levels. If at any point in time you have a conflicting perspective to anything I'll be discussing here, feel free to reach out to us in any of our platform or through the comment section. We are always open to constructive criticism, positive, negative. And that is because we go by actually hearing your own perspective and knowing where we need to make necessary adjustments. However, everything we'll be dishing out here is a product of experience, is a product of exposure, is a product of deep research. So we will try as much as possible not to mislead you, but to lead you right. So let's go. We are talking about empirical review. Before you talk about your empirical review, make sure you already have your variables. If possible, you've already drafted your specific objectives for the study. This is very, very important. Very, very important before you proceed to empirical review. Now, why doing your empirical review? There are two major approaches. You may have other approaches, but there are two major approaches you can consider. And the consideration should be based on the requirements in the templates given to you by either your school or by the publisher. Yes, the first approach is trying to do the empirical review revolving around the topic. That is to say, you are not actually paying attention to the specific objectives, you are not paying attention to the variables, you are not paying attention to the proxies. You are only interested in the topic, just as we have the topic here now. So if we are doing our empirical review based on topic approach, so all we just need to do is to get some research topics around this topic. I mean, research journal papers around this topic, get to know their perspective and use that to form our empirical review. Then the second approach is objective based. That is to say, you are picking each of the objectives of your study and do the empirical review based on them. However, it's always challenging. Sometimes you may not actually get to see some journal materials around a particular topic that will require you to do a whole lot of research to come up with that. However, if you have enrolled for our advanced practical training program, you will get to see how you will use different artificial intelligence different platforms at all to handle your empirical review, like to extract some necessary information you will use and build up your empirical review. So it's either you are going by objective or you are going by the topic. We'll try as much as possible to see how we can go with the two. Now, if you are okay, before I proceed further, when you are doing your empirical review, there are key things you really need to pay attention to. Yes, number one, we really want to know who is the author. Yeah, the author. We are also interested in the year the paper was published. We are also interested in um, the purpose of the study, which can also mean the research topic. We are also interested in the area of the study. Area of the study. That is, if the study was conducted in Nigeria or maybe Ghana or wherever, we actually want to know the area of the study. Then we are also interested in the methodology used for that particular study, and we are also looking at the findings. We are also looking at the conclusion, and we are also looking for the recommendation. And finally, you need to bring in your own voice. Let me use this word, your own voice. It's very, very necessary that you have seen the various the author's name, the year the author published the paper, the purpose, area of study, methodology, findings, conclusion, recommendation, and your own voice. Your own voice means your own observation, your own perspective in line with the findings of that person or that author or that researcher. So these are the key things you need to cover. Now, when we are talking about empirical review is you trying to actually see what other researchers have done within the subject area you are trying to actually put out there. Yeah, there is a Bekuna proverb that says, a young cock doesn't crow until it hears from the old ones. As a researcher, you have an idea to explore, you have an idea to communicate with your audience, but you have to sit back and ask yourself, who are the authors who have actually done one or two things within this area I am about to go into? That will really help you to know whether there is an existing gap or there is no existing gap. Literature review will actually help you to understand, you know, the circumstances surrounding the problem, what other people have done, what they have failed to do, the methodology they use, the approach they use, their findings and everything. That will now help you to actually justify your own findings at the end of the your study, either that your study agrees or disagrees with the findings of the past authors. You understand? That is actually what empirical review helps us to do. And when it comes to the presentation of the empirical review section, we can actually come up with different approach, either presenting it individually or just using it to form an argument. It is possible, it is allowed. However, whichever one you are doing, make sure you do it in line with whatever template you have. So you follow me carefully now. Let's see what we can be able to do in using ChatGPT to write the empirical review of this particular study. We already have our topic. Let's first of all go with the topic approach. What I will do now is to pick up this topic and go to ChatGPT, and please follow me carefully. Very, very important. Follow me carefully. So here I am in ChatGPT here. I want to actually handle the empirical review on this particular topic very fast, very swift, and step on it and get to do other things. So what I will do is, since I already have the topic, I'll just give it a little instruction. And please, if you have not secured a copy of our AI handbook for researchers, it will be very, very important you do that. And that is because this book contains a whole lot of ideas, a whole lot of prompts, a whole lot of strategies you can rely to be able to use different artificial intelligence platform to handle your research work. So let's give a little instruction, and ChatGPT will help us write this empirical review. Follow me carefully. So write the empirical review for this study. The review should focus on the author the author's name, and year of publication, depending on the referencing style you are using. Then the the purpose of the study, the area of the study, the methodology used for the study, the findings of the study, the conclusion of the study, the recommendation of the study, and the justification for the current study below. Good. Let's say this is the instruction we want to give. You can still add more based on what you actually want to capture. I want to write 5 empirical review. Yeah, I want to write 5. Make sure the review is robust and standard. Make sure the authors are valid and from verifiable journal. The the journal paper should be traceable online. Good. So let's use this and see what we can actually get from ChatGPT. So let's send it now and see what we will have. Please follow me carefully as we continue to discuss the various steps we can actually adopt to use ChatGPT to write the empirical review section of our research paper. Searching for journals, is still thinking. You will really enjoy this if you are using ChatGPT Pro or ChatGPT Plus. Yeah, and that is because that will help you to actually get relevant journals. Follow me carefully and be patient. Good. You can see. Now, I will call this one a kind of a rough work. I will still give it another additional information so that it will present it in paragraph form, because this is not how you present your empirical review in the body of your research. So let me give it additional information. All the points are all here. Please follow me carefully and patiently. Network can actually bring its own problem sometimes. Follow me carefully. My network has ceased. Good. The network has is back. Uh, hold on now. Let me do this thing. Okay. The network. Let me refresh. My network is bad. Please be patient with me. Let me see if I will refresh it. Let me log into ChatGPT again. Follow me carefully. I'm with you. So here is, yeah, good. So what I know I need to do now is to give another instruction. Everything here requested for five, and this is the five here. Um, all the details, the purpose, everything here. So what I will now do is tell ChatGPT, you may actually give all the instruction once and it will not be presented this way. But where you have an output from your ChatGPT and it's not as you expected, all you just need to do is to give additional information, additional instruction. It's just like your PA executing outside the context. You just have to give additional information so that your PA will still go back and do the right thing. You start seeing ChatGPT as your PA. So use paragraph paragraph style for the discussion. Use upper seventh edition for the citation at the beginning of each review. So let's see how this one will be. Oh, this one is better now. However, you can see, okay, you can see, but we are not supposed to have some things here like the initial based on the upper seventh uh, style. I can now give additional information like the initials are not necessary in the citations. So let's see whether it will actually understand my request. Okay, you can see this one now, fantastic. Now let's look at this one is Ajolo et al. Examine the prevalence and determinants of ChatGPT and other artificial intelligence tool usage among medical students in Uganda, blah blah blah. The study cover four public universities and this and this and this using a descriptive cross-sectional design and this and everything, you know, findings here, the conclusion here, you can see, and the recommendation. This study justifies the current study by providing, you can see, likewise this one again. So the next thing we need to write now is the reference. Write the complete reference using upper seventh edition. Ensure the reference ensure the references are valid and can be downloaded online. Good. So let's get the references. We can now take this one that is okay now. This one is a kind of individual based review. It's not lumped one where we use it as a kind of argumentative method. This one is just one after the other, looking at the theories one after the other. So let me now put this one like this. So let's assume we only need five empirical review, which should not be. Always include sufficient empirical review in your study. Where you are not clear of how many to include, please review the template given to you or liaise with your supervisor or reviewer to get his or her own perspective so that you will be well guided. So empirical review. Good. So let's say empirical review in our study is section 2.3, whichever where it belongs. So paste the review. These are the review we got. Then all you need to do now is to format it clearly, you know, remove things that should be removed and make it look great, presentable, the way it should appear in your research. Follow me carefully, please. Very, very important. Follow me carefully. Good. So let me adjust this a bit. Good, good. So I will still need to clean this one. I don't need to repeat the author's name twice. One is enough. Good. This one investigated adoption of AI chatbots. Another one investigated being Malu AK. Investigated is this one is a systematic review of artificial intelligence adoption in Africa. Clean up your work, remove all these unnecessary details here. You know, likewise this. Good. Likewise this. Likewise this. Good. So let's assume this is the clean one. All we just need to do is to go through it and make sure it's okay. Then let's go and pick our references and also validate the references to be sure they are sound. Okay, let's click this link to know whether the link will lead us to the paper. If it leads us to the paper, we'll know the paper is valid. If it doesn't lead us to the paper, we can decide to copy the title of the paper and go to internet and search for it. You can see the link I followed now, and it brought me to where the paper is hosted online in the journal. Can decide to download it as a PDF and use it to study more and gain more insight as regards what I am doing at this point in time. Now, the next approach is now to use this one is the title based approach. You understand? Then under the objective based approach, all we just need to do is pick the topic like this, I mean the specific objective like this, and use the same approach we used for the first for the topic. Instead of using the topic itself, we will be picking the objective one after the other. Then at the end of the time, what we just need to do is, as we have here our empirical review, then 2.3.1 now will be the first objective, the measures in the first objective. Just follow me carefully. Let's copy this objective like this. So let's assume this first objective is what we use to get all this information the way we use this topic. Now what we will need to do is come here 2.3.1 now. We now have to bring not the topic it's I mean the objective itself, but the variables AI tools adoption and research quality in Africa. Good. So this is how it would have looked like, assuming we did it objective by objective. When we are done with this first objective, maybe we want to get 5 for each objective. When we are done with this particular objective, we repeat the same thing under the second objective, and everything we are getting, let's always pay attention to the variables. The dependent and independent variable should be captured in every paper we are reviewing, either directly or indirectly. Very, very important. So this is just the simple strategy you will use to leverage ChatGPT to do your empirical review, and be sure that the citations, the references are valid. What you will now need to do is cool down, read through it, make necessary adjustment, remove what should be removed, add whatever should be added, and you are good to go. Ordinarily, without ChatGPT or without other artificial intelligence platform, for you to be able to review the empirical review sections will truly give you a whole lot of headache, and that is because you will need to visit your library, check this journal, or possibly use the internet measure, check this journal platform, check this one in search of most suitable and accurate journal paper to use. But with just simple prompts, just simple instruction given to ChatGPT, it helps you actually to filter out and bring what you should use for your research. Let's appreciate ChatGPT. Let's appreciate artificial intelligence platform, because when it comes to efficiency, it has introduced efficiency in the research processes. When it comes to productivity, it now helps us to actually conduct quality research within, you know, using little resources we have. Yes, very necessary. So stay tuned as we keep on bringing different training program for our ChatGPT users. See you in the next class.